Namami Buddham Gunasaгаrantam Santa Sada Hontu Sukhi Avera Kayo Jiguncho Sakalo Dugando Gachanti Sambe Maranang Ahanje Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gachantu Devatam Sandammang Munirajassa Sunanto Sagga Mokkadam Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Dukkhang Dukkha Samuppadam Dukkhassaca Atikkamam Ariyan Chattangikang Maggang Dukkhopasamagaminam Etang ko saranang khemam Etang saranamuttamam Etang saranamagamma Sambha dukkha pamunchatu. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are going to explain some kind of doctrines which come in Buddhism. Actually, already I have discussed this doctrine. Here I have summarized all teachings that already we have discussed. Last year also I have given the same handout to you. However, I wanted to explain those very important doctrines again for your more understanding. That is why I prepared this handout again. Okay? Day by day we go forward with the understanding, with the knowledge about the Buddhism, and Buddhism means the story of our life. Buddhism doesn't belong to even Buddha or Dhamma or Sangha. Buddhism is the story of our life. As much as we study Buddhism, it means we study what happens to our life. And also, we understand how we get rid of suffering. And also, how we achieve the real happiness. Day by day, we clarify our knowledge and also we clean our knowledge and we purify our mind going forward with the spiritual life. That is why we study Buddhism. And also, especially, Buddhism explains why suffering arises. And also, Buddhism explains how we overcome suffering. That is the main teaching in Buddhism. One day Buddha said, I explain only two, that the suffering or unsatisfactoriness and the way how to get rid of unsatisfactoriness or suffering. Only two things that we can see in the entire Buddha's message. And whenever we are suffering, it means our mind is polluted with anger, desire and delusion. On the other side, we are not in the present moment. That is why we are suffering. Whenever we are suffering, it means we are in the past or future without mindfulness. If we can live in the present moment with mindfulness and intelligence completely, then we have no suffering. In the present moment, we have no problems. The problems are whenever we are in the past or future. It doesn't mean that we should not remember our past or future. We can remember, we can reflect on our past or future. It doesn't matter. The thing is that we should practice whatever we do, whatever we think. We should have mindfulness, what we do, what we think. Then we are away from suffering. Buddha always explained how we overcome suffering. Buddha's main effort was that we are away from suffering. That was his wish. And if we can overcome suffering, if we can away from suffering, that we are fulfilling the Buddha's wish, Buddha's intention, Buddha's hope. And first of all, I would like to explain, as I explained before, that the main thing that we should practice from beginning to end. Buddha said in various places in Tripitaka, the three baskets, there are four essential things that we practice from beginning to end on the path of liberation. I think you can remember what they are. Associating good friends, Sappurisa Sanseva, listening to Dhamma, Saddhamma Savana, reflecting, wise consideration, Yoniso Manasikara, and Patipatti, Dhammanudhamma Patipatti, your practice. These four things are very important. In every steps in spiritual level, Buddha explained that we have to develop those four things. That is very important. Day by day, we should go forward with the knowledge, higher knowledge, what happens to our life. And also, we should think it again and again. Not only we should think it when we are in the temple, but whenever we are, whatever we do, anytime, if we can compare this life with Dhamma, at that moment, we have no suffering, even though we are in a very complex situation. That is why Buddhism always advises us to reflect on what we learned. And especially, we should be aware of our mind and body. In this moment, what happens to my mind? What happens to my body? Especially, the contemplation of consciousness is very important. We should have an awareness at the moment what happens to my mind. Whether my mind has anger, desire, ill will, or generosity, kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy. We should be aware of what kind of emotions now I have. Even though we are sick physically, if we have good attention about our mind, we don't feel our physical sicknesses, because we are completely live mentally. At that moment, we have overcome physical illness. And those four things are very important: associating with good friends, listening to Dhamma, reflecting and practice. How we practice Dhamma? Dhamma can be practiced in various ways, according to our understanding. Okay? People in the world, according to their understanding, knowledge, education, they do something. And there are some people in the world who have less education. They do sometimes very primary level jobs. Then sometimes he who has higher education, higher intelligence, then they do higher jobs. Sometimes there are some people who control the airplanes. Sitting in a room, there are some people who control the airplanes. It is a very, very sensitive and intelligent job, because a lot of lives are in his hand. And there are some doctors who do some higher operations, they are also like that. According to their education, knowledge, they do higher things in the world. And we are also like that. If our knowledge is less, then we do the primary level things. Sometimes we can see it. When there are very big meritorious activities in the temple, some people come to the temple from far away. After they come, they do some activities. They participate to the activities. But their merit is not high. They find only fame, kirtiya, fame, pride. They earn only pride. After merit, they think that Bhante appreciated my merit, and they are so happy. They earn a very few things. After that, they have some meal and they enjoy with other people. They go back. But there are some intelligent person. After they come to the meritorious activities, they actively participate to the Pinkama, meritorious activity from beginning to end. They think that meritorious activity is theirs. And they do everything by their hand. They offer foods to the monks and they worship, they clean, they do everything in the temple when they are at the temple. And also, especially they listening what monks say in the sermon. As monks, we also have a very big responsibility that we should give the very highest knowledge to you. And if we explain only your qualities, you have nothing to learn. You may be happy, but you have nothing to learn. You have nothing to bring. But people like it. But our attention, our efforts should giving very highest level knowledge to you in a meritorious activity. And also, when we go forward, then when we leave our house to the meritorious activity, from leaving house, we reflect on the Buddha's qualities, the qualities of the Dhamma, the qualities of the Sangha. We practice loving kindness meditation while we are driving to the temple. And also after we come to the temple, we think, now I came to the temple where Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha are living. Then our mind is so pure. We don't care others' misbehaviors. We actively participate to the meritorious activity. And also, we listening to what monks say in the sermons very carefully. And also we help many people at that meritorious event. And we leave the temple with pure mind. And also this is one of the way that we can practice Dhamma. You know, there are some intelligent devotees here. While they are going back home, they discuss what the monks explains. With Dhamma discussion, they go back to home. And also, little by little now we are going forward. And if we are more intelligent, every moment we can think some higher meritorious activity or meditation. If we can practice always loving kindness meditation, the contemplation of Buddha's qualities, and breathing meditation, we always aware of our mind and body, then our spiritual level is very high. And again, we can go to forward. What is the highest contemplation that we can practice as an intelligent person? What is the highest contemplation that helps us to overcome suffering? Yes, reflecting on impermanence. Every moment, whatever we see, whatever we hear, that experience arises and ceases at the moment. We think only arising and ceasing. When I open my eyes, the form is alive and my experience arises. Then suddenly it ceases. Then every moment I have only the 5 aggregates. Now we have attachment with the physical things, physical bodies, physical things. We have some kind of combination attachment. Now when I see Mr. Pranandu, I think, this is the person. I have attachment or disattachment with your body. But however, whenever you die, what happens to you? Your physical body is here. But where is my experience? What happens to my experience? Still your body is visible. What is the difference that my experience before I had and now I have?
It's the same thing because it's what you have in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Through your body, actually I got some experience. I had some experience, but finally I have only the 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates is the fundamental thing that I received. Through your body, I should be intelligent. Now I experience the 5 aggregates. Whether you live or die, I have only the 5 aggregates. But the ordinary people in the world, when people are alive, they have attachment with the physical body. When they die, what happens to them? They are suffering. They think that now that person is departed. Then if you are intelligent, whether you live or die, I have only the 5 aggregates. Then as soon as I see something, I hear something, my attention goes to the fundamental things. Whatever we experience through our eyes, through our nose, through our tongue, through our body, through our ears, through our mind, finally we go to the 5 aggregates. That 5 aggregates are also not permanent. It also arises at the moment. It was not here permanently. It is also like this sound. 5 aggregates always are together. It cannot be divided. Whatever we experience at that moment, we have 5 aggregates. Then if someone can reflect on this reality, that is the highest contemplation that we should practice to overcome suffering completely. Then you see that how we go forward little by little with our understanding. The ordinary people come here from far away and they earn a few things. They earn only pride. Or when some monk says something to be happy, they are so happy. After some event, they eat something, they bring something to home. They receive only few things. But when we go to the highest level, we are always like a statue. Then our body is so valuable. Our clothes also so valuable. Our vehicle that we go is also valuable. The street, the road or freeway where we go also is very valuable because of our higher contemplation of merit and spirituality. Then, step by step, every feet, if we can practice this reality, it means every moment we are going away from suffering. For that, we should have good understanding. That is why we listening to what Buddha taught again and again. Sometimes we discuss very common doctrines. But sometimes we are going to the deep level. Especially this class, little by little we go to the deeper level. If you are continuously participate to the class, you can achieve very valuable things like gems. You can collect some valuable things, more valuable than gems, diamonds. And one day Buddha said, the doctrines that Buddha explained to overcome suffering are like gems, diamonds. There are a lot of valuable diamonds and gems on the bottom of the ocean. In the dispensation of the Buddha also has this kind of valuable things. And those valuable things which are in the ocean can be destroyed. But the inner qualities that we practice like gems never can be destroyed. Day by day we develop it until we achieve enlightenment. That is very useful to achieve our final goal, liberation. Okay, as we mentioned before, whenever we listening to Buddha's message, then our understanding about the world gradually increases. According to Buddhism, we have some kind of understandings. One of them is the understanding of the karmic law. As much as we are knowledgeable about what Buddha taught, then we have a clear understanding about the karmic law. Whatever we do with intention, we will have the same results. Then we always try to overcome evils, negative thoughts, and always we try to keep our mind pure and calm. If our mind is polluted, the disadvantages come to my life. I don't like disadvantages. I always like benefits, advantages. Then we always should try to keep our mind pure and calm, like a very beautiful flower. Even though physically we are sick, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we can control our body, but we can control our mind. Sometimes, there are some monks, when Buddha was living, they said, my body is not beautiful. There was a monk, his name was Mogaraja. One day Mogaraja says, my body is not beautiful, but I have a very beautiful mind, he says, after he achieved enlightenment. There are some spiritual persons who said that physically I am unhealthy, I am sick, but mentally I am healthy. That is the way that we should practice. And the first level of understanding of Buddhism is understanding of the karmic law. Then we always try to keep our attention with a pure mind. Pure mind gains us happiness. Whenever our mind is polluted with negative thoughts, it means we have no happiness, we are suffering. As the knowledge of karmic law, we always try to do the meritorious deeds. As we mentioned before, all meritorious activities can be included into three. They are dana, sila, bhavana. Dana means practicing generosity, offering something to others. And sila means virtue or morality, discipline in our speech and behavior. And bhavana, meditation, mental culture. This is the very primary level merits that we practice. But gradually we can go to the deeper level. However, with this understanding, we acquire some benefits. We earn some benefits in this life, not hereafter. When we practice generosity, people who are around us, they like us. They are friendly with us. We are generous. If we are so greedy, then people don't like us. That is why Buddha said, practicing generosity is one of the ways how to win the friends. How to win the friends. The way how to friends is practicing generosity. Dadang mittani gantati. Then when we practice generosity, it is whatever we have offered. If we can think it, it is one of the meditation techniques. It says Buddhism, Chaganupassana. If you have offered something to others, if you can reflect on it, if you reflect on your generosity again and again, I have offered these kind of things to my mom, to my dad, to my children, to my parents, to my relatives, to the inner persons, homeless persons. When you think your generosity that you have practiced already, that is also one of the meditation techniques in Buddhism among 40 meditation techniques. It is one of the ways that we can use to purify our mind. And also, sila. Sila means discipline in our speech and behavior. It is more beneficial than practicing generosity. When we practice sila or virtue, then we have a confidence about our life. We can go any place without fear, without shame. Because we are proud of our character, personality, that we have no mistakes. It is beneficial. And also it helps to practice meditation, the next level. Bhavana means inner peace. When we are going to concentrate our mind, if we are virtuous persons, then our discipline or morality is useful to succeed our meditation. Meditation is more beneficial that, it means always we are lighting a candle inside. Then negative emotions don't come to our mind. If we are away from meritorious emotions, then negative emotions come to our mind. Then if we are clever to keep our mind with a meditation object, such as loving kindness, breathing meditation, Buddha's qualities, and then our mind is filled with good emotions. Then these are the 3 meritorious deeds that we can practice in our day-to-day life. Buddha said, Sukho punya sauchyo. Practicing merit means practicing happiness. More merits, more happiness. No merits, no happiness. More meditation, no medication to our mind. Actually, we mostly are suffering with mental illnesses. In the society, especially in the current society, most of people are unhealthy mentally, not physically. Physical illness is not dangerous. The worst thing is the mental illness. That is why, by practicing this merit, we try to recover mentally. That is one of the techniques that we can use to be healthy mentally. Okay, now we discuss several doctrines. Can you remember? 4 things that we should practice from beginning to end. It says Satara Sotapatyanga, and we discussed the karmic law, and also we discussed the 3 meritorious deeds. And understanding of the karmic law is the first level of wisdom. When we go to the second level, with the understanding of karmic law, we go to the higher understanding about the dependent origination, the impermanence. We have only the impermanence. Every moment our experience arises and ceases. We can't control it. If we can familiar with this reality, then we don't struggle. We are not fed up when the things change. Now, we are hurried to keep everything as certain. That is the problem that we have. But as much as we are knowledgeable what happens to our life, we are not struggling with the world reality. We try to be familiar with the world reality. Anicca, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and egolessness. These are the realities in the world. This is the world reality. Whether we like or not, whether we believe or not, finally we can see only these things. And for that first level, we should be knowledgeable about the karmic law, then we should be knowledgeable about the dependent origination. Dependent origination means that explains arising and ceasing. When conditions are together, the experience that we receive through our senses arises. When conditions separate immediately without remaining anything, the experience ceases. As much as we practice 3 meritorious deeds, and as much as we reflect on impermanence, then we can see the beauty of our life. We are happy because we are overcoming suffering. Other people or things outside, they can disturb our peace of mind. Whenever we are strong, this understanding, other people can control us. Other people can bring us suffering. Because we are proud of our intelligence and understanding. And also, when we see the results, one of the qualities is Dhamma, is Sanditiko, visible results. Akaliko, immediately effective. You know, if we practice only generosity, actually its results is very few. When we practice morality or sila, then we can see more benefits. When we practice meditation, we can see most benefits. And samatha and vipassana meditation can be divided into 2. One of them is concentration meditation. There are 40 techniques that we can see in Buddhism, how to control our mind, how to concentrate our mind. And whenever we practice meditation, then we can see the beauty of our life. If we are clever to concentrate our mind, it is not just sitting in a particular posture for a long time. We should be skillful to keep our attention, consciousness in a particular wholesome object for a long time. It is a result of practicing meditation for a long time. And again, if we practice meditation, we are able to keep our attention with a unwholesome object, with a wholesome object for a long time. It shows our skillfulness. If we can keep our attention for a long time, it is more beneficial than we have a lot of degrees, education. Because, although we have a lot of degrees for educational qualifications, we are not happy. But if we can concentrate our mind for a long time with a particular wholesome object, then we are more happier. We are happier. And also, then, with the knowledge of karmic law, we practice 3 meritorious deeds. With the understanding of dependent origination, we go to the higher level. We practice 3 disciplines, 3 with the Shiksha. They are Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration or tranquility, and wisdom. That is the higher level practice. Then, as I mentioned before, we talked about the 4 things. Associating good friends, listening to what Buddha taught, wise reflection, and practice. Practice also can be divided into 2. One of them is Trivida Punyakriya, 3 meritorious deeds, Dana Sila Bhavana. The next level, 3 disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, concentration and wisdom. And little by little we go to the deeper level. When we see the results, we are confident in the Buddha's message because we see the results. When we see the results, we have a confidence and we are happy about the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. We are faithful, we are confident in the triple gem. Then the valuable thing in our life is the triple gem. We keep them in the highest level in our agenda. Now they are in the lower level because we don't see the results. But whenever, as much as we see the results, we keep them in the higher level. From the beginning to end in the day, we always think about the Buddha and his teachings and his noble disciples who receive the results. And they are our friends. Even though Buddha has passed away, still Buddha lives in our heart, in our mind. Even though some noble disciples have passed away, still they are living with us. They are our close friends. Not only monks, noble monks, but there are noble lay people too, like Visakha, Mallika, Bandula Mallika, Anathapindika. Those are the people who achieve some kind of spiritual result. When we go forward with the Dhamma, practicing Dhamma, they are our close friends who live with us in the same house, at same house. Then our confidence, saddha, also gradually increases. When we have confidence in the triple gem, we have courage. Go forward, step by step. And when we see the results, we are hurried to see more results. More practice, more results. No practice, no results. We try to increase the duration that we practice Dhamma, especially practicing meditation is one of the successes of our spiritual life. With good understanding, we try to develop the duration what we practice in our day-to-day life. We develop the duration of practicing meditation. Little by little, we increase the duration. And today, if you practice 40 minutes, next day, tomorrow, you try to 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Little by little, we increase the duration, the time. Then, we are happier little by little. And also, here, we are discussing special doctrines in Buddhism. By practicing and seeing the results of Dhamma, we are happy and also we are confident in the triple gem and we have courage and also we are mindful because always we are in mindfulness, aware of our mind and body. Whatever we do, whatever we think, we are aware of our actions, physical and mental. Then we always live in the field of mindfulness. Whatever we do, wherever we are in mindfulness. That is why Buddha said, mindfulness is the only way to overcome suffering. This is the only way to get rid of suffering. This is the only way to achieve enlightenment. This is the only way to achieve real happiness. That is fourfold mindfulness. The contemplation of body, the contemplation of feelings, the contemplation of consciousness, the contemplation of mental formations. Fourfold mindfulness. Kayanupassana, Vedanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. Whenever we are in the field of the mindfulness, we are in the land of the Buddha. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are in the land of the Mara. Mara means suffering. Then the highest contemplation of living with mindfulness is living with aware of mind and body and reflecting on impermanence. Not only living in the present moment, there are some psychiatrists and counselors, they also recommend to practice mindfulness. They advise us to forget your past, forget your future, and live in the present moment. That is not the way that Buddhism says. That is not the way Buddhism explains. Buddhism never says to forget past or future. As much as we practice mindfulness, our memory gradually increases. That is one of the results of practicing mindfulness. The fault is ignorance. When we think our past, if we have no mindfulness, then we live in the past experience. That is the cause of suffering. When you think somebody who has passed away, if you think that person's past experience with you, then you can cry a lot. At that moment we live in the past experience. Actually, those experience has ceased already. Now I remind my mind, I read my mind. That person's physical body has been burned, that person's clothes has been destroyed, everything is finished. Now when I think that person, I read my mind. It is not a fault. But what is the fault? When we think that incident, that experience, our mind goes to the past and our mind lives with that experience, in the past experience. That is why we suffer. That is why we can cry. Even Arahants, they also have participated to their parents' funeral. While their siblings were crying, they were silent. Because the people who are crying live in the past. The arahant person who is silent live in the present moment. Look in his mind, reflecting on his mind. But they have fulfilled their duties for their parents and relatives very well than their other relatives did. That is the interesting thing. Sometimes some people may think that when we have this highest contemplation, we can fulfill our duties and responsibilities. It is not true. As much as we have this knowledge and understanding, we are the people who do more duties and responsibilities than other ignorant people do. Now, we help others with food and medicine and clothes. We give food only for the body, physical body. When we have this understanding, we don't give not only food for the physical body, but we give food for the mind. That is the more important thing. That is better than we give food for the physical body. Then mindfulness is very important. One day Buddha said, all other animals' legs can be included on the foot of elephant. Like that. All doctrines that Buddha has explained can be included into fourfold mindfulness. You know elephant's feet? Its feet, 4 foot, singular?
Feet, just 1 feet.
1 feet, yes. Elephant feet is big, and all other animals' foot can be included into elephant's feet. Like that, Buddha's all doctrines can be summarized into fourfold mindfulness. And also, when we practice mindfulness, gradually our concentration increases, samadhi. And not only concentration we have, but with concentrated mind, we try to reflect on impermanence. As soon as our mind is concentrated, we are intelligent because of our previous knowledge. We suddenly reflect on impermanence. We get the benefits of concentration. We don't stop in concentration. Before Buddha appeared in the world, there were a lot of people who achieved concentration. They stopped in concentration because they had no other understanding. After Buddha appeared in the world, Buddha introduced how we go forward from concentration. As much as our mind is concentrated, we are clever to reflect on impermanence, getting the results of concentration. Concentration is not for concentration. Concentration is for the higher contemplation of impermanence, for wisdom. Then these 5 things, every moment, every day, gradually increase in our life. What they are? Saddha, confidence; virya, energy; sati, mindfulness; samadhi, concentration; and panya, wisdom. These are the real properties, dowry in our life. As soon as the Buddha meets a person, suddenly he considers these 5 faculties, these 5 spiritual faculties. How far we have increased these 5 spiritual faculties in our samsaric journey. Buddha doesn't consider our family or our education or our physical appearance, so Buddha doesn't care. Buddha reflects on that how far that person has increased, developed these 5 spiritual faculties in his samsaric journey. This should be our dowry, property, wealth, the valuable thing in our life. Confidence in the triple gem, energy to do good deeds and to overcome bad deeds, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom reflecting on impermanence. These 5 things should be increased day by day if we are intelligent, if we are real disciples of the Buddha. But mostly people, they think that when they do a lot of merits, offerings, that they are successful. actually it is not the real success. Our real success depends on how far we are going forward with these 5 spiritual faculties. By offering something to others, we get some benefits. Longevity, good complexion, good friends, healthy life. These are the things we receive through practicing generosity. Having those benefits, developing our energy, we should try to develop these 5 spiritual faculties. If we don't practice generosity, actually we can't receive Dhamma. If you are so greedy, then even you don't come to the temple. You are not ready to offer this valuable life for the Dhamma. Then that is why Buddha said at the very beginning, Vinaya loke abhijja domanassan. At the very beginning of the path of liberation, we have to overcome greed or covetousness and domanassa, anger. This is very important. Greed, desire is difficult to overcome at the very beginning, completely. But greed is more dangerous. Greed. Or covetousness, or big attachment, and ill will. These we should overcome at the very beginning. That is very important. If we are so greedy and if we are so angry with everybody, with people, then we can achieve the Dhamma. You have achieved the Dhamma because of no greed and ill will. Be happy. Because you practice generosity, your mind is open, your heart is open to receive Dhamma. If you are filled with greed and anger, you have no space to keep Dhamma. That is why we should have a space in our heart, practicing generosity and practicing loving kindness. That is very important. And now, can you remember what we discussed? We discussed 5 spiritual faculties, the karmic law, or 4 causes to achieve Dhamma, and triple gem, and the dependent origination, 5 spiritual faculties, and dependent origination. 5 aggregates, and 3 meritorious deeds. And little by little we go forward, and with this understanding we have a fundamental understanding about the 4 noble truths. The suffering can be divided into various ways. And finally Buddha explained the suffering is 5 aggregates. Ignorance about the 5 aggregates. As we mentioned before, when we see a person, we have attachment that person or thing. But we are ignorant what is there. Finally, we have the 5 aggregates. Through these physical things, we reach the 5 aggregates. If we have this understanding, we don't stop in the physical things. When we see something, that form can be seen according to my I consciousness, according to my karmic law, according to my ignorance. Now we can see this wall. We can go through this wall because of this situation of the karma. But when our senses change according to our karmic law and our intelligence, then these things can be changed. You know, there are some beings like ghosts, they can go through the walls. They can see through the walls. But our eyes is not like that. You know, you can see some birds, they can fly. But we can fly. Because of their karmic energy, according to their karmic energy, they can do it. But it doesn't mean that they are more intelligent than we are. Actually, the merit decides that our intelligence. Even though we can go fast, we are not lucky. We are not fortunate. You know, there are some animals like horse, tigers. They can run fast. It doesn't mean they are fortunate than we are. But our fortunate depends on how far we are clever to understand the world reality, not our physical body or physical abilities, skills. There were some people when Buddha was living, they were so innocent, they were so poor. But they were intelligent to understand what Buddha explained. On the other side, there were some kings who had powerful countries, but they were not intelligent to understand what Buddha explained. Our fortunate, our skillfulness depends on how far we are clever to understand when Buddha's message somebody explains. Then among 4 noble truths, the first one is suffering, dukkha satya, the truth of suffering. 5 aggregates is the truth. Unknowing or ignorance of 5 aggregates is the major cause of suffering. And the second one, the cause of suffering. Cause means very nearest cause, that is desire or attachment. Attachment arises because of ignorance. But here it is said that the nearest cause of suffering is attachment or desire. And Nirodha Satya, or the cessation of suffering, is the Nibbana or enlightenment. The path that leads to get rid of suffering is eightfold path. There are 8 steps from right understanding to right concentration. Eightfold path. And finally, we can conclude everything that Buddha explained in a stanza or verse. Sabba papa sakaranam kusala supa sampada sachitta pariyodapanam etam buddhana sasanam. There are 3 advices that Buddha has given. Not to do any evil, because more evil, more sufferings. No evil, no suffering. Kusala supa sampada, try to practice good deeds, 3 meritorious deeds, as much as we can. Then we can increase, we can develop, we can improve our happiness by practicing 3 meritorious deeds. That said, Kusala Sukha Sampada. Sacitta Pariyodapanam, purify one's mind, is the highest advice that Buddha has given us. Purifying mind means concentration and wisdom. Although there are a lot of doctrines in Buddhism, Buddha explained in Abhiññā Sutta. As an intelligent person with his supramundane knowledge, he has to understand the five aggregates. Learning five aggregates is the highest education in Buddhism. If we can understand five aggregates, it means we have understood everything in the world. Everything can be included in these five aggregates. And again Buddha explained, with the understanding of five aggregates, as an intelligent person with his supramundane knowledge, which he has to understand, he has to overcome avidya bhavatanha. Avidya means ignorance, bhavatanha means the attachment to the world. As an intelligent person with his supramundane understanding has to overcome ignorance and big attachment. When we have understand about five aggregates, gradually we overcome ignorance. What is the ignorance? When we see something, we think before we experience about that, it was here. Again we think, after experience we think it remains here. That is why suffering arises. If we can open and close there itself, then problem is solved. But whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we smell, we start the problem. Then we open a file. Then even though we close it, again and again we open the files. When we dream, we open these files. Then after experience, still we have remained, it has remained. Still we think, still it is happening, it is here. That is the shadow of suffering. It means that, don't misunderstand, we should forget everything that we experience. We should not forget. We should not forget. Everything, when we see something, at that moment we have only that seen. When we hear something, at that moment our entire life is that hearing. When we think something, that thinking is our entire life at the moment. Then we have no any other things. When you think your son, then you have only your son. When you think your mom, you have only your mom. When you think your house, then you have only your house. When we think my book, at that moment I have only that book. At one time, we have only one experience. That is our entire life. That experience, we start at that moment and suddenly we close it. Whether we like or not, it ceased. It ceases at the moment. But because of our ignorance, we are not ready to close it. We have started the new file and we keep it as a certain thing. That is why suffering arises. Little by little, when we go forward by practicing concentration and wisdom, we try to delete these files. It doesn't mean we forget it. Anytime we can open it, but we open a new file. Now we open old files. Now we open old files. Even though we are in the 1st of January, we are not new. Because we have old files. But files are always new. Because of our ignorance, our files are old. We open the files that we opened before. After this experience, we open files which are new files. That is the way Buddhism says. If we open old files, it means we are in ignorance. If one day we can open new files, then we have overcome suffering. Then when Arahant goes to visit his parents, he can remember the place where monks living. But it is like, when we go to the mirror, before we go to the mirror, do we mention that it was there? No. We go to the mirror, but we are sure that when we reach the mirror, it appears there. And also we go away, then figure or reflection ceases, remaining nothing. Arahanta's experience also like that. When he goes to visit his mom, it is like go to see the mirror. He has a memory that where mom lives, but it is a new experience. Now we are going to visit our mom like the pet, cat or dog goes to the mirror. He thinks that before he goes to the mirror, somebody was there. Even though he goes away, that other pet was there. By practicing Dhamma, we develop our understanding like that experience. Then, when you think something, at that moment you start a new experience. It is not the first experience that you have already received. It is a completely new one, like the sound. Because of conditions are same, the sound also like same. But it is not the same sound. When you go to the same place where you will live, you can see the same things, same bedroom, same restroom, the same garage. Everything is same, you can see. Because of ignorance, they are same. But when we can overcome ignorance, then everything is new. Then day by day we go to the higher level, practicing this reality. The things that we use are new, very fresh. This is the way that would explain to overcome suffering. You are so lucky to listening to this your life. This is the story of our life. This is not far away from our life. Learning Buddhism means learning our story of our life. Then, as much as we receive this understanding, nobody can change our understanding. Even Buddha comes and say that this is wrong, you never change your understanding after we experience. Because then it is ours. It is our experience. It is our comprehension. It is our understanding. For example, I explain your place where you didn't go yet. Then you go to that place. For example, Apple Valley. You know city of Apple Valley. Have you been there?
Yes.
And how about Lancaster?
Yes.
Where is the fast and going for meditation place?
No.
How about Las Vegas?
Yes.
How about Sri Lanka?
No.
I explained the path to go to Sri Lanka. Then you go to Sri Lanka and trust in my advice. Then after you go to Sri Lanka, I say you that, Mr. Prananda, this is not Sri Lanka. I told I have a mistake that this is not Sri Lanka. But even though I say that, you never believe me. Because now it is your experience. This understanding is like that. One day, Buddha explained this reality for a person. As soon as he listening to Buddha's doctrines, then he achieved the first level of enlightenment, Sotapanna. After Buddha left him, then Mara appeared there like Buddha's image. He can change his physical figure. Like the same figure of the Buddha, he appeared there. And he told, my dear friend, I had a mistake that whatever I told, it is not true. Then that person said that, no, you are not the Buddha. This is my experience. Now I see the reality. Even though you say it, I have this, I experience this reality. He understood very well that was not the Buddha. Our understanding also like that. Then little by little, actually we should go forward with this understanding, not only having the knowledge, but for the permanent understanding. We should practice concentration and wisdom. That is why Buddha said, as an intelligent person, with his supramundane understanding, we should practice only two, that concentration and wisdom. Focus in our mind in a particular